fans, super curve honing fans, type 2 diabetes rescued by keto fans, and carnivore eating fans, the proper human diet. Look that one up. Okay, back to shaving. I'm shaving today. I am going to be using, I need to shave. I've been delinquent in my videos, yada, 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 and a lot of things. Sometimes life gets in the way even of your shaving hobby. and I realized I need to shave, but I didn't want to use, I have been known to, I don't even know if I still save the thing anymore. I have been known, because it's sitting right here, to pick this thing up, this supply razor, and just use that to just kind of mow down something so I don't look like such a hobo. And this is a good tool if you're looking for a TSA compatible thing to throw into your suitcase and you're going to travel. It is a disposal razor on the SE style of the supply company website. I like this. There's another piece of hardware that they got that I was going to talk about at one time or another, but I don't really care to. Today, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to test some razors. I think, I haven't decided on a title yet, but I think at this point, by now you'll know, but I think I'm going to call it Convex Hones and Convex Strops, because that's kind of what my focus on my testing is going to be today. But I picked up some new stuff at Sterling, and I want to use that. One is Scott's Pine Sheep. I had a sample of this from way back when, and I've been using this. I am a huge advocate of Sterling mutton tallow soaps. For me, they produce absolutely the best lather. I like it better than anything. The problem is that mutton tallow stinks. Okay, and if you are not tolerant of animalistic smells from animal fats, especially do not get mutton tallow. Okay, because even with the, usually these things only come with very strong scenting to try and mask it. I got some of the unscented stuff, and unscented does not mean that it doesn't have a smell. Okay, I'm tolerant of it, but I like this one so much better as far as the mutton tallow soaps. I like Scott's Pine Sheep better. A lot of people like Electric Sheep, which is a citronella menthol type thing, and I've used that. I just like this one better. At one point, I don't know if I mentioned, I thought I may have mentioned it one time. At one point, there was a rumor that I had heard that Sterling was going to discontinue mutton tallow soaps. So I sent an inquiry to Rod Lovin at Sterling, and I asked him. He says, we're having trouble for a while getting a good mutton tallow. We have managed to source one that we like, and we're continuing to make mutton tallow soaps. But at that time was when I ordered this, because the normal thing that we shaving guys, fear of missing out. So just a cup of hot tea. It's today is April 16th. It's in the evening. I doing an even shave because I got to do something. Okay. So, but some razors came in that I'm going to do some testing on. Okay, and I'm doing the hot towel thing. Okay, let's see. I don't know if I got any water left in here or not. But I just take this thing here. It's a cheap thing from Walmart. And I take a cheap Walmart towel and I roll it up and I shove it in there. And I pour boiling water in this. And this will stay plenty hot for quite a long time in here. Okay, and this was a combination of another ideas from a bunch of things. The good thing about the people that I like to watch on YouTube for shaving and that is you can pick up things and you can steal these things and you can make these techniques your own. Okay, you don't have to do things my way. Okay, so it was somebody else that took a towel and they would microwave it and then put them in like metal insulated things, and my good friend Gary, and I was going to put my, because I was making fun of him because he had me in the background, one of my videos in the background on one of his shaves, so he didn't get a copyright strike, because he knows that I wouldn't copyright strike him. I mean, who's going to care what I say anyhow? But I was going to put him here, and I was going to have him play, and I may still do that at some time, Gary. I don't know. But it was a fun idea, and I've had a lot of fun ideas. I just haven't had time to do them. So I did, since this is an evening shave, for those of you maybe new, old guys all know this, prep is important. A lot of people shave right. I usually like to shave recently after I have showered, because that pretty much takes care of the prep. Especially in the evening, I do like to take the steaming hot towel and give my face the treatment with that. Okay, this is hot enough. I'm feeling the steam coming off of this thing just on my finger holding it, and I don't like it. Okay, so when you do this, you need to be careful, especially if you're using boiling water. You gotta leave it cool around. Tune into Gary Shaves and his new channel. I think it's Razor Ninja or something like that. It'll be listed in my description where he is. He's a fun guy to listen to. And if you listen to his recent video, okay, no, I'm not his friend who got nailed DUI and on his e-bike. No, that was not me. That was somebody else. Okay. Now I have been known to, it has been rumored that I have, in my much younger days, stepped behind the wheel of a vehicle with not making sure that I was entirely within the tolerance of how much your blood alcohol level is to be, but those days are long gone. So another little technique that I kind of picked up: take the towel, fold the towel up, okay, so it's hot, so you get 4 layers. And this part of prep is really, really important. Okay, for me especially, I did use the Proraso. I just like the Proraso pre-shave, okay? I got that when I first started shaving, and that's Geo Fat Boy's problem. He showed that to me, and that's probably one of the things that keeps him in business, because he's one of the greatest video guys around. He's helped a lot of people get started, including me. He's one of the influencers, and I bought stuff from him, and just a little bit of that goes a long way. And I have used other pre-shaves. I've used oils. Believe it or not, I did like a kind of a stunt thing once where I used olive oil, okay? And really, just plain extra virgin olive oil really seemed to work for me well as a pre-shave. But I like the menthol eucalyptus smell of the stuff that I use. Okay, so, and again, I'm going to be using, like I always do, unless I'm in a rush, okay? And especially when I do a video, you'll always see me use this Scuttle. This is Steve Woodhead Pottery in UK. You can find him on Etsy. I'll put the link in there. I credit Gary for helping me find this and really discovering the delight of a really a hot lather. The brush I'm using is West Coast Shaving. I think they call this tall and black. I bought this because I wanted another synthetic knot. Typically, my most used brush is a Sterling Tuxedo synthetic, which I like. This is a little more floppy than that one is. I thought they might be very close or not. I like the Sterling better, but I like this handle better. I like this tall handle. And I'm not a brush guy. I have enough brushes. And like most people, some of you who watch me, we all have our things and we all have our specialties, and we all have those things that we really, 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 really like, okay? And those things that are just part of it that we use. Now, if I had to, I got tons of soap. If I had to pick just one, okay, this is, and usually, and there are people who have the self-control to buy a soap and use it all up and buy another soap and use that all up and not me. Okay, I had to have everything, and every time Sterling had some new release or something like they do in spring and Black Friday and summer and winter and whatever, every time they'd have a sale, okay, I would go buy something. And unfortunately, I've bought, as far as soap goes, I just don't have any more room for soap. But if I had to do one soap, this would be the one soap that I do. And it does have a kind of a strong pine smell to it. This is not that strong compared to the original sample I got from years ago. Probably has a stronger pine smell than this one does. And I'm not sure what else is in there that I'm smelling that I didn't smell in the other one, but I'm definitely not picking up an animalistic scent. So I also saw today, okay, Jared Connerty from the Superior Shave did a really good demonstration of honing a razor and talked about a new offering that he has. Anybody who has watched my channel, you know that he and I prescribe. I consider him my mentor who has got me into convex honing. I listen to him a lot. Another person I actually, who has really taken this style from where it was to my opinion, a next level opportunity is, and I have called him the unknown honer. I think Jared referred to him today as the Hudson Valley, or his friend from Hudson Valley. So my new term for my friend in the Hudson Valley is the Hudson Valley honer, and he is the guy who has integrated. This is what shaving is about. It is integrating different ideas. I watch anybody, I listen to anybody, I'll pick up any idea I can. Another good one that came up today, and I'll probably link him in my list, was Johnny 5, screen name Johnny 5 here on YouTube. He did a really short video where what he did, and he does a lot of restorations and stuff like that, talented individual, and he did something I'd never seen before. I was always deathly afraid of Dremel tools on something sharp. I have never used one. And when you have a blemish or a rust that you need to buff out, I've taken a Q-tip and I put it in a paste and you're rubbing it on the razor and doing that. And he did something I've not seen before. He took and I call it a Q-tip. It is a cotton swab, and the ones he uses have a wood stick on them rather than the kind from Q-tip, which is paper. And he cut them and he would put them into his Dremel tool, clamp them into his Dremel tool. So here's a piece of wood that's spinning pretty fast, cotton that you could put some sort of a polish on, and I would consider that very safe. Okay, I love that idea. Okay, so please go check out, in addition to Gary Shaves and the Straight Razor Ninja, forgive me, Gary, find it in the list. Check out Johnny 5. Also check out Greg Gallant. Greg has done some great tutorial type stuff, and there's some things on my shaving hardware today that would kind of fall into the domain of his knowledge and normal practice and that kind of stuff. Okay, but Jared introduced a thing, okay, and one of the things that I've been working on, I got some of these smaller acrylic blocks, and I've shaped these on my plate, not these two, but other ones, in the 6-foot wheel direction. Okay, I refer to the plate develops an elliptical crown on whatever you inverse rub on it. Okay, and I refer to the different directions. I used to call it the long dimension, which is a 25-foot wheel, and short dimension, which is 6.5-foot wheel, roughly. Okay, now I just kind of call it the 6-foot wheel, the 12-foot wheel, and I've homemade another one for a 4-foot wheel, which is what I called the super curve, where you can get 3 different those three different. Jared's done three different curvatures on other stuff along the way. But what I was going to do with this was I was going to make one of these, do an inverse to take off of one of my 4-foot curves and put one of those in here. This one, I'm not sure what I'm going to do is I may put this on the long dimension curve, meaning the 25-foot wheel this way in case they need to. And when I bought this, Jared said, I think, he gave me a note back with the order, says, do you really understand what you're into? It's like, okay. So he and I have both shaped Arkansas stones, and we know what that's all about. These are not easy to shape. He's like hours and hours with more modern abrasives than was done earlier. And my idea was not to shape this into a shape like one of my stones, because I have the stones and I could put in, what I was looking to do was I was going to take this one, this edge, and I was going to shape this edge 25-foot wheel this way, 6-foot wheel this way. Because really you never really use more than that much of a width of any stone that has a crowning 6 foot across. If you do, you're doing something wrong. So it'll take some control to do that. But what I'm looking to try and do is balance lapping films against, so that and I'm always looking, can I find a way that's cheaper, easier, faster, better? Always, 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 I'm always looking for that. So that's coming. And the shave today is going to be with two things where I'm going to be testing the stropping. Okay. My friend Sean G tested one of my edges. It came back and he did a live video, a live stream honing of this one right here, where I asked him to take this razor. This is a 5/8 Ti, similar to the one that I sent him. Beautiful shade. He keeps his stuff really nice. Had it all Vaseline and wrapped it in the water-resistant paper and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so he owned this, and I looked at this under a glass. I have not touched the edge of this other than to wipe the Vaseline off of there. Okay, and I can see in a glass, I can see the two different curvatures. I can see where we're in the curve, where there's a division between what's happening up here and what's happening back there. That's part of understanding convex honing, is that so instead of a bevel like this, you have a bevel that's like this, and you are working different areas. So your final work is as close to the edge and as minimal as you can get. And I've done videos on it. I've talked about it a lot of times, and it's you have to work to understand it, and you have to have the gear to do it. But Jared is coming up in a couple of weeks. He'll have these shaped in the 6-foot wheel with the long dimension going across, for people who wish to try and get a lapping film or another abrasive of some type, stick it on there and back bevel, and then try some things some other ways. The purpose of this, okay, I've watched Sean G hone many times, okay, enough times to know that he's a reasonably skilled individual, and I look at his stuff and I do the packing peanut test and everything, and I'm saying, yeah, I would probably shave with that. Okay, so it's been my thought for a long time that what develops the edge that I like the most is not necessarily, and you can go through this stone, this, that, this, and that, but what really gives me what I think that I like the best is that after shaping the bevel, finishing off on a progression of abrasive strops, okay? And these strops have a shape. They are shaped. Long wheel, 25 foot in the long dimension of the piece of balsa, and 6-foot wheel across the width. And if you check any of my videos where I show actually made the honing, you'll see me do that. What I wanted to do was I wanted to shave with, this is Sean's edge. I'm assuming he stropped it, okay? I'm assuming he stropped it, and what he gave to me was was pretty much the best way to do an edge exchange to learn things is when I send somebody an edge, I say, wipe the oil off and shave with it. Okay, because that represents what I shave with. So I'm going to shave with this, and then what I'm going to do, I'm not going to hone this. All I'm going to do is take this and run it across. I'll shave with it. I'll run it across my Strop series. I may shave with it again to confirm my suspicion that I think I can change this and move this more to my liking. I'm not saying better. I'm not trying to pit anybody against anybody. That's really a stupid thing to do. Okay, so you can see that there's no problem with how this razor cuts hair. Okay. And I think what'll happen with this is I think I'll smooth this out. And that's one of the things, there are people and they say sharp is easy, smooth is hard. And, it's like, they both should be easy. And you use different methods to get to these different places. There's, and I looked at this and I did my peanut test and I said, there's no reason this won't shave. Okay. And I'm correct. I can get it, I can get that right there, okay, is every bit as good as a couple of passes with this, okay? I still got a little bit more work to do here and that to do a cleanup, and obviously my mustache, okay? But an interesting thing, while Sean was on his live and we're communicating on Sean G has done them, Greg has done them, Sean Staplefeld has done these live streams. If you ever go into the thing and get the alarm, hit the alarm button so you get a notification, that'll tell you when they're doing a live stream, which, and you can go on there. And people from all over the world, literally all over the world, drop in. And so you can have this like chat going where you're watching somebody rub their razor on a rock. So, trying to keep the leather from drying out. So the other thing, and Sean asked me while he was doing it, this is a Freador 14. I don't think I've ever seen a Freador Inox stainless steel 14. I don't think I had ever seen one. This is a pretty beautiful example of one. Okay. And he asked me if I would do the super curve on this, where I would put 3 curves into this edge. I said, sure, send it along. I'll do it. I'll send it back to you. But what I wanted to do, okay, what I didn't get to do with that one yet, but I will, I took this one and it looks like he was using under a glass. It looks like I can see in the bevel where he was using 2 different curves. I think he could have used a curve and a flat. I'm not sure. We haven't talked about that. But I thought, well, let me run this across my Strops and see what happens. And Sean was nice enough. Okay, he sent me some of the high-value packing peanuts. He sent the pink ones. What's the difference between the pink and the green and white? This might have some sort of a coating to make it less static free or whatever. But this went in. It was an acceptable edge to shave with, in my opinion. Okay, and then what I did was I took this, and this is his packing peanut. Okay, then I took this and I ran this. Okay, so it's making some noise going in. I'm assuming the microphone may be able to pick this up, but this is really just, and I'm going in the long direction because it's a little bit more difficult. It's more challenging of a test. It's like the guys who, when they hone, they know what the bundle of hair they buy or whatever, they know what root in, root out, and the structure of the hair. That's their test. I've never been, and I was actually thinking about trying to HHT on one of these, but it's like the hairs around here are so inconsistent. You can't use these, okay? So you got to go harvest them from a brush somewhere. And I just have never been successful at it. So anyhow, this razor, a quick look at this, okay? I love this with the file jimping. Let me see if I can get the file jimping on both sides. I love that. I love the beefy feel of this. Now, it does look like at some point in time somebody brought this in a little bit. I don't know what the issue was, but it looks like it has had some work in here, and that's fine. Okay, it also looks like it has seen some hone wear. Okay, let's see if I can get that in there. Okay, you might be able to see the wear pattern there, and you might be able to see a wear pattern there. And some people look at this and say, hone wear, hone wear. Well, yeah, there is hone wear. You sharpen a razor, you're going to create some wear. Okay, and the interesting thing on this, okay, so a 14, I don't know how that goes, but usually a 14 means a 1 inch. This is not 1 inch. This is about 7/8 from the honing guide here to the edge. So this is, I don't know where it started at and measured. I didn't see it. But this, if that was the case, this is 1/8 of an inch shy, or more a 7/8 razor than a 1 inch razor. And when I referred to Greg Gallant, he has done really, really great illustrations and talks on the angles and shown you the formula and how to figure out what your bevel angle actually is. It's good for you to know. On super curve, I don't pay too much. I like to know what it is to see where I am. But since my style, I'm not working on angles, I'm working with curves, it's a little bit different. But it is good to know, okay? So I didn't measure this one. I have a caliper. I could have measured it. I know how the formula is. But I wanted to see how this shaves. Okay, so that shaves better after. Now, I did strop this. I don't know if I told you that. Okay, I looked at this out of the gate, and it was not as packing peanut good as that one was. And all I did was run this across my strop series, my strop progression, and it got better and better and better. Okay, now, one thing I noticed right out of the gate with this, as soon as I hit the strops with it, and for me, this is a sign of what I consider good honing. That's subjective to the piece and all, because this is a very, very thinly ground piece and more likely to ring. But the sound just on a balsa strop and my first step is a Herald chromium oxide, you could hear the zing, zing, zing that you want to hear in honing thin razors. So I don't know if Sean will catch this video or not, but before I do any work on this, okay, he'll probably want me to work it on the super curve, okay, where I got 3 different things in there. He'll probably want me to do that because if I can judge him, he likes a lot of he's got some neat stuff, okay? And he has some rare and unique stuff that nobody has. So my guess is if he likes this, he might start thinking about a 4-foot rock. I don't know. The benefit of a 4-foot wheel is less on a razor that is ground as thin as this one is. I don't know if you can kind of, this is a really thin grind. It's of a lesser impact than a slightly thicker grind. Okay, I don't know how this one is, and I'm not going to rehone this. I'm just going to strop this, but you can see, I think you could have easily you can see how thick that is there. It's a 5/8. TI is usually grinding a little thicker, okay, than the Germans are doing, okay, and have done. And I like really thin grinds, okay. Not to say that they can't do it, because I think they can. And I think there's a uniqueness to their C135 carbon steel that allows, especially when you hollow the bevel, to get that edge really to be perform at a level. Let me say a level that I like. So that's I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna continue with half side shaving with these two tools. And I'm already over my normal 30 minutes with my ratchet jaw now. Messing up my shade pattern and everything there. So this razor gave me a little more resistance, a little more tug because of the heaviness of my beard. And now here on this pass, I like it better. So that becomes the preference of the shaver. Is it a conical edge? Is it a Escher edge? Is it a synthetic edge? What kind of edge is it? It's all the fun of it. Do as you please. Is it an Arkansas edge? I like to try a lot of different things. That's me. I like to try things that I think are maybe applicable to my method. My method is my method. My method is, and I make the YouTube videos to share what I do, how I do it, why I do it. And The beauty of it is that we are if you're somebody that I like to watch to and recommend, you're somebody who's sharing information that other people can use. You're not smashing other people and telling them that you're the best. So I could possibly, when I get to my effort with lapping films, I could get to a point where I change my style. Ultimately, what will be really, really cool, okay, because not everybody is going to go out there and buy a Jared plate and buy one of these, and they're not going to go to all that work. And it's some work. It's not as much work as shaping plastic, but there are just some people that are just not going to shape 7 or 8 different, or 3 or 4 even different strops, and buy them and balsa strops and paste them, and I usually maintain on a curved strop that has a leather mounted on balsa, and a lot of people just aren't going to do that. Okay, it's going to be a matter of fact that, okay, just like in one of the things that I was considering along the way when I was trying to decide how I was considering lapping films, and I was also considering, and a lot of people like Chapin glass, and I was considering, should I get Chapin glass, and should I be in, but not everybody. I didn't, it's an expense, and not everybody is going to do that, spend that kind of money. Not everybody's going to spend my money. You got to find your way. And one of my goals with the lapping film is, can I get better, easier, faster? Okay. What I saw was promising. So if I get to that, that'll be something that I'll share for the benefit of anybody who may want to try that, who may have ever watched me talk about super curve and it's another younger fella that I haven't mentioned too much. I got to put him in the tagline as Gordon Christie in the UK. He's been like over, and he's been making some videos. He's been one of the lead guys over there in super curve honing, and he's doing some really, really neat stuff. It's worth tuning into him and to find out what he's doing. And he's just another hobbyist out there. Doing his thing. So it's Fredor. I'm definitely going to talk to Sean before I touch it, because this shaves really, really well. I don't know how it would shave without I don't know, my guess is probably he'll tell me super curving. And which I will. But there's absolutely no reason. Okay, this is a beautiful shaver. I didn't own this, I just dropped it. Okay, so stropping makes a difference. Now, I did watch some videos recently. Okay, so that's a really, really good shave. A little bit of under here, I'm gonna do a little bit of cleanup with a little bit of water. Sorry about the water on. What was I saying? Can't remember what I was saying. Forgive me. When I go back and edit this thing, I'll find it. Anyhow, this is a very good razor. This would be anybody who is interested in shaving well could do well with this. And the honing on this was, I consider, flawless. Okay, so it's not all about honing. Oh, I know what I was going to say about paste. I watched some stuff recently, and I saw some older stuff too, and mostly out of Europe, where pastes are more common. Matter of fact, the last thing a Dovo razor hits is a paste. The last thing, I don't know, at Boker, I'm not sure. The last thing, I mean, they hit leather, I think, okay? But, Tier's Assard, the last thing they hit is a paste, okay? And many have maintained razors on abrasives for a long, long time. And I saw something I never heard before. Never heard it. It was very interesting. Okay, and I think this guy was Italian, and he talked about something I never thought of. Now, I don't see it, and I have not pasted any, any leather stuff, okay, and I thought about the, I got an Illinois strop around here. I was actually thinking about this one. This was my first strop. I was actually thinking about trying to put a paste on leather here, but on pasting on leather, here was something that this guy shared. When you're using a typical paste as opposed to what I finish on, which is a emulsion, okay, which is basically resin free. Paste has a carrier. Most of the time it's wax, okay, and I bought some of the Tier's Assard white paste. I never liked it for any reason. Even on kitchen knives, I hated it. Okay, but one of the things this guy said was heat the strop. Take a hairdryer and heat the strop. And I thought, bingo, that'll drive the carrier in there and help it flow out. So I thought that was an interesting thing, and I may try that at some point in time. That was another little tidbit that I picked up along the way. So the album was good, just a little bit of normal, what I like, okay? And I'm gonna, another thing I got new, okay, West Indies Lime, post-shave balm. Again, fear of missing out thing, I don't know, okay, and I'm using a little bit of that, okay. As a little different and lime smell that I like a little bit better than their typical lime, which could be compared to like a Lifesaver. I don't mean that derogatory, because I probably use lime all the time, especially if I'm going to bed. which in a couple hours I will be going to bed. And I'm going to finish off with the West Indies Lime aftershave, which I've not used before. Both of these have some of the stuff from the Witches of Hazel and aloe and a bunch of other stuff in there. This is largely alcohol based, and just, you know, after you come on with the other stuff, it might give a little sting. Man, I love it. That smells good. I gotta put some more on. Lovely shave. To Sean G, thank you for your kind words and testing, sending stuff over here. I love this stuff. We'll have to talk. I don't know if you'll catch this video, but I'm going to talk to you the weekend before I touch anything. And I do have some busy things to take care of, so I can't commit to specifically a time to do that. And I don't know how to do one of those live stream things. It would be really, really cool to live stream me honing. If you want the super curve on the Freador, that would be a really cool thing to try. But I don't know if I'm technical enough to do that. So being old boomer and everything like that. So I'm way over my normal time limit. Those of you who tune in and take the time to listen to me, thank you. I hope that I have helped somebody. Oh, one more guy I forgot to mention that I love, and he's mostly not a straight razor guy. Mike McClellan, Mikey Shaves. You gotta watch this guy, okay? The guy, he plays his guitar. He's just really a cool guy from Louisiana. Just really a nice guy. The big thing you want to listen to him on, okay? And he and I might have learned some of the way we undertake shaving from the same circles of people, okay? And he's a technique guy, and many of you heard me say slick soap, sharp steel, lowest angle, lightest touch, stretch the skin. You watch him and watch his techniques, and I picked up something from him that he does, I don't do, but he's using a double edge, and he's typically, and he's touching, and he's immediately checking his work. So I'm checking my work here after I've done it, but I have not done so while I'm doing it. And if you are the kind of person and you really, really want to chase the super duper baby's bottom smooth shave, okay, follow his techniques, and I believe that you can get there with the minimal, maybe none, if you apply technique correctly, irritation. So you can get that close and irritation free. And we straight razor guys love to say, you know, we're the best, yada, yada, yada. You learn to shave well with a double edge razor and get that closeness. You learn there's some technique in there to do that, okay? It really, really is, okay? So tune in to him. Go look at him. He's a good guy, as well as all my other friends. Again, thanks for tuning in, and I hope everybody has a great week. And if I can get to it, I'll make another video this weekend. I'm not sure, but great shave. At least I don't look like a hobo anymore. Take care. Bill out. Bye.